This is a Cervelo S5 little assembly, kind of custom swap over that I did the other day. And originally the bike came with Ultegra, I think 6800 series Ultegra 11 speed, and the customer wanted to have the bike with Red 22. So, stripping it down, kind of a few little unique features to this bike. The way the rear brake attaches, it's a little piece that basically goes inside of the frame there, so you have to attach the brake to that piece and then it bolts up into the frame. So basically you just, the piece there, you take your little standard nut and bolt that in, and then it just bolts back into the frame. So the actual nut there is hidden, kind of an Aero style with a standard brake system. Within most new bikes these days, there's Di2 pieces and then standard mechanical pieces. So on the left is the Di2 bottom cable guide, and right was the standard. And this is the same thing here. That's our mechanical cable guide there, just behind the stem there, where the cables route down into the top tube, into the frame. Just a couple little guide tubes, little Teflon tubes there. And it also comes with the Di2 battery that'll attach just in front of the bottom bracket there, in the down tube. But it comes with all those things. Seeing as how we're mechanical, we didn't use that piece. But just getting the fork put on, I routed the little piece there. It's a lot easier with the fork out of the bike, so you can have access to make sure those tubes are routed in the correct direction. So just greased up the bearings. It's 1 3/8" bearing on the lower, I believe, and then an 1 1/8" standard bearing on the top. And it's kind of the full stack to start with, and we'll cut that down later as need be once we fit the customer to the bike. And the handlebar that comes with these is an Aero style bar, which this one's in theory, the function of it and everything once it's all set up is a super nice bar, but it's a little bit of a job to route cables through it if you've never had to deal with this one. So give you a couple little tips here on, I've done 2 or 3 of these so far. So I basically started out by mounting up the brakes just kind of low there, not tight or anything, just sort of snug to hold them in place. But I mount them pretty low, and then there's two guide tubes on each side of the bar. So I just basically ran the inner wires. These are the shift wires here. Did the shift and then the brake wires, put them all through all the yellow guide tubes there, and then just basically pulled all those out. And then from there it's just kind of a matter of working the housings, pushing those through, attaching the front caliper there. And what I do here also, I'll kind of just mock it up on the outside of the bar as far as the length of the housing I'm going to need, and then maybe make it a couple inches longer than what I think I'll need, so that way once I have it all, sometimes it's a little deceiving how that housing will run through the bars, and you may end up cutting yourself a little short. So I usually go a little long, and then once it's routed through there, you can pull everything tight, and then pull your inner wire out through the brake lever there and cut off the excess, which is what I'm doing right there. Make sure you cut it off nice and flush, no metal overhanging that's going to interfere with the smoothness of the cable sliding through there. So got that all done, and kind of just reverse the procedure, do the same thing there on the rear brake, but kind of went through and then just sort of semi-snugged it down just to hold it in place, so it didn't, don't want any of the cables actually, I'm going to be working with the shift cable going through there. I wanted to kind of just keep that one in place, which, hindsight, it may have been easier to do the shift cables first, or, I don't know if there's any right or wrong way to do it. I haven't done enough of these to, experiment and find the best way to do it. If even maybe trying to do two housings at the same time might be, an easy way to do it as well. But, this way worked out pretty well. Just did the brake cables first, and then the shift cables afterwards. But yeah, just finishing up the rear brake there, and then getting the shift cable there, kind of got it mocked up. And you know what I did here is once I got it started and it's almost in there, I went ahead and pulled out a bunch of slack of the shift wire, because I knew the cable would probably end up kinked just a little bit. So I pulled out, and then kind of used the end of the inner wire there to kind of help guide that shift cable through. It's just kind of a push-pull, and so it got a little disfigured there on the end, not anything major, but it's inside of the down tube where it's not really going to affect anything, having to slide through anything. Got that all hooked up. Now I'm fixing the shift brake lever there, and I like to take a ruler on that flat edge on the bottom, and either have the tip of the brake lever just touching, or maybe about the length of a finger between the bottom edge of the brake lever and the ruler. So got the cables lined up, and you can see the going through the frame, you can see that wire up there. So you should just use my little hook spoke tool and grab hold of it there to pull it on through. It's kind of a handy little homemade tool that makes it easy to grab those things. So yeah, basically got that going. Front, this is the yaw style SRAM front derailleur. So kind of just a basic setup. You want on between the big ring and the bottom of the outer plate there, just a millimeter or two, and then a lot of times I'll just screw the low limit screw all the way in, and then you just there's a line on the back of the derailleur, and on the top side you just line that up with the big ring and you're good to go. But yeah, that's the finished bike there. Seat post still needs to be cut down. It was pretty well bottomed out in the frame. It's a really long seat post, but yeah, that's the conclusion of this bike, and thanks for watching.